gentlemen, this is Charlie Batch speaking. Thank you for attending tonight's event.
Charlie's a great dude, man. He gives back to the community, man.
I grew up with Charlie, and he was always helping people.
Growing up, Charlie Batch was a boy with a gift, a mother determined to instill positive values. Charlie's mother also recognized his athletic skill, but encouraged Charlie to have another plan if the narrow road to professional sports didn't work out.
You know, she knew sports was something that I was gifted at, but there was always that constant reminder of making, okay, fine, well, what happens if you don't make it to the NFL? What happens if you don't make it to college? Let's figure out something. And she always stayed on me, and I thank her for that.
I told Charlie, you can do whatever you set your mind to do.
At Eastern Michigan University, Charlie pursued his dream of a career in football. As the Eagles quarterback, he set records. Everything was going his way until the day his mother called with terrible news.
It was my sister. In 1996, she was shot and killed, and she was only 17 years old.
Danielle was walking with a friend in Homestead. Gunfire broke out between two rival gangs. Danielle was caught in the crossfire. Charlie had a choice to make: seek revenge or follow a better path.
And I said at that point, if I was ever in position to give back, I would. And graduated from Eastern Michigan, and then from there, I was drafted by the Detroit Lions in 1998. And at the end of that season, beginning of 1999, is when I started the foundation in memory of my sister.
It was the beginning of the Best of the Batch Foundation, a project to help underprivileged youth.
Had an opportunity to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2002, and I looked at it as a one-year window opportunity. And from there, started my basketball league, and that was the very first program that I did here in Homestead. And from there, we had 125 kids, 25 volunteers, and more kids started to come around. And by year number 3 of the basketball league, I was at 350 kids. And next thing you know, I'm like, wow, how can we now continue to grow? But sports was our draw. But we always make sure that we keep the focus on education. So now we were able to implement our summer reading programs into those summer sports programs that we do.
Charlie's mission: to uplift young people through sports and education. At the Foundation's clubhouse in Munhall, kids come in after school to do homework and to use the internet. For some, it's a community center. For others, a community haven.
When they know they have a physical building that they're able to come to and they're able to talk to people and they know we're here, they know that they can come here anytime. We have an alternative school program that's taught in our building daily. We have middle school and high school. We actually have computer labs that are in the building. So if their homework is done, they can now get on the computer, have some fun. We still do some fun learning exercises for them. And we try to trick their mind a little bit to make school fun again. But learning is worked into every activity. That basketball program has grown into a big deal with the kids, but there is a catch. The beauty of that is that every kid that plays in the basketball league needs to attend 4 mandatory study halls and read a book. If they don't read, they don't play. So a lot of kids get upset about it, but quite frankly, this may be the only book that these kids will read in the summer. And we want to make sure that they're continuing to stay upbeat on reading, number one, but also understanding and see if we can now figure out how can we help them, how can we better them, how can we work with the parents. Last year we found an 8th grade student on a 5th grade reading level. And we work with teachers that are around the district, so they actually help create the study guide. The basketball league is a privilege. It's not something that's expected. You have to do all the other things that come along with it. Sports and literacy are at the heart of what they do, but the heart of the foundation is also big enough to reach into homes at Christmas.
When you see somebody who is really contributing, it makes you feel good to be a part of it.
Some of the children they serve might not receive a present if it weren't for a batch of Santa's helpers.
We have our holiday drive. We collect toys. We've been doing this now for 10 years. The problem is we collect them unwrapped, but we need help wrapping them. So we may have a group. Last year it was 149 people who actually came physically to this building, and we have a wrapping party. We celebrated, and all the toys are just all around the actual building. We adopted 110 families last year, and literally you'll have people come over, and I call them professional wrappers because that's all they do. Stick, tape, and they're gone. And they love it because they understand where these presents are going. So last year we collected 5,000 toys. This year we want to collect 6,000. And I think we're on pace to be able to do that.
Delivery is a big job. Charlie and his wife Latasha and volunteers load 2 trucks and a U-Haul to keep hundreds of children from being disappointed. And they try to do it all on Christmas Eve.
You don't know what part of town you're going to. One minute we can be in Rankin, the next minute we can be up in Connellsville, the next we can be over in the Keys Rocks. So if all of that is over in your delivery area, you have to make sure that we are going in a circle, just in case we may have to refill.
Best of the Batch Foundation, Charlie speaking.
Volunteers give their time freely, but the foundation still needs money to operate. So once a year, Charlie's team organizes a fundraiser. It's the one place you might find yourself playing pool with Charlie's friend, Steeler Marquise Pouncey.
He's an awesome guy, man. I know him in and out. I love what he does for the community, man. So anything he does, I'm always come out to support him.
This event's a lot of fun. It's a very non-traditional fundraiser. It's not stuffy. He gets a great turnout from the city for a great cause. It's a lot of interactivity between the fans and supporters of Charlie and the players. I've been here every year.
You see everybody having a good time, but ultimately, you know, people know how important it is to us, because without this foundation event, we wouldn't be able to really go through the year, you know, being able to fund our literacy program.
Years ago, Charlie Batch made a decision that the death of his sister would become a catalyst for greater things. Today, the Batch Foundation helps more than 3,000 kids every year in 6 counties. Charlie and Latasha give their time and set the tone for hundreds of other volunteers.
Satisfaction comes when you know that you're making that impact. You don't get a lot of thank yous, quite frankly. You know, some kids are just going through it, but you get a lot of smiles. And I think when you're doing that, it makes you, you know, go to bed at night peacefully.